Welcome back, everybody. My name is Eltimar, and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Planescape Torment. In our last video, we finished most of the Clerk's Ward, and we are now in the Brothel. That is also in the Clerk's Ward. We're going to go inside. This is where we actually get our 5th character that we'll be taking along with us. And then the 6th character will be voted upon by you guys, either the Modron Cube, the Fire Mage Ignis, or the Suit of Empty Armor Valar. We'll see what happens. But her name is Fall from Grace. Before you is a stunning golden-haired woman, dressed in an azure and violet dress, with 2 long elegant wings draped across her shoulders. She is surveying the room with a slight smile. She is easily the most beautiful woman you have ever seen. Greetings.
Well then, traveler, how may I help you?
The woman turns as you address her. She takes your measure and then nods slightly. You notice her eyes are azure, the exact same color as her dress. Well met, traveler. She reaches up to brush back a stray lock of golden hair. How may I help you? Who are you?
Updated my journal.
I am called Fall from Grace. She studies you for a moment. You are new to Sigil, are you not? Yes, I am. Does it show? She smiles slightly. Not as much as you might think. You carry yourself quite well. What is this place? This is the Brothel of Slating Intellectual Lusts. She studies you for a moment. I take it by your question that you did not intend to partake of this establishment. Brothel of Slating Intellectual Lusts? What kind of brothel is this? I established this brothel to give those lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression rather than the simply carnal. Much pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging in the verbal arts with others. Sounds dull, Mort said. I assure you it is not. Tour the brothel. See for yourselves. So this is a brothel where there's no intercourse. Only of a psychological nature. Rest assured, it is still quite stimulating. I have to ask, why did you establish such a place? Fall from Grace raises an eyebrow. That is an odd question, she frowns. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, at least directly. My apologies, Lady Grace. I didn't mean to be so direct. I was merely curious. Oh, no apologies are necessary. I am more than happy to discuss the reasons with you, if you wish. I'd like to hear them, yes. Part of the answer to your question requires that you know that I am a member of the Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible. And that is why you established this place. This brothel is designed to slate the lusts of even the hardened intellectual. It is designed to stimulate the mind, to heighten one's awareness of themselves and others, to create new ways of experiencing another person. It is for those who seek something more than the shallow physical pleasures that fill the hive and lower wards. I see, so this establishment just encourages intellectual fencing rather than the, other kind of fencing. The women here must be special indeed. The women here are aspiring sensates. They either have come to me in search of instruction to prepare themselves to enter the faction. Also, many of them have a natural grasp of language that can shatter the crust of the most hardened individual. Sensates? She bows slightly. Yes, I am a member of the Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible. And the girls here are in training to be sensates. Yes, I hope that by learning the art of language and its subtleties, that the patrons and the students here may learn more about themselves. One is only as limited as their command of the language. To be able to employ language to evoke emotions in others is a tremendous skill. Perhaps I will tour the brothel and see for myself. Farewell. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start straight here to the left. There's nobody home, but there is an armoire. As you begin to search the armoire, its handles suddenly yank out of your grasp and the drawers slam themselves shut. A disdainful issues from the cabinet. Hello? Hello indeed, the armoire gives another humph. So what have we here? A rogue after some lady's frilly undergarments? You talk? Do I? Why, yes I do. Who are you? I am Louis. And who are you? Thoughtless, uncouth fellow, rummaging about in other people's things. Never mind that, what are you doing here? Well, sir, if you must know, I am being an armoire. But why are you being an armoire in this brothel? I happen to have become an armoire because I want to be an armoire, thank you very much. It is not to watch the ladies undressing, nor have them place their soft, sweet-smelling undergarments in my drawers where they can rub against my skin. Such accusations are an insult to a practitioner of the magic arts. I am merely soaking in the experience of what it means to be an armoire, the sights, the smells, the sensations. So all the women know about this then? Yes, they do, and they wholeheartedly approve of, well, not with their hearts exactly, and while they have not spoken of their approval in my presence, since they are not exactly aware that I am an armoire, I would not want them to know that I am anything but, and so I have not been able to inquire about the matter. So he is a armoire who is basically just spying on women. I'm not gonna do anything else about it for now. Actually, I'll need something from you to keep quiet about this one. Very well, posh. Open the third drawer, you scallywag. As you reach your hand into the drawer, it slams shut in your fingers with great force. Searing pain reaches through your hand as you withdraw your battered fingers. Heh, cretin, idiot, open the drawer, I said, and you reach in. He slams his drawer again for emphasis, then begins shaking with laughter. I'm gonna tell them right now. First, I would tell you this one thing. I have been popping in and out of the brothel for a good long time. I am quite knowledgeable regarding both its occupants and their activities. I assure you that talking about me is utterly worthless. Not only will you lose me as a potential source of information, but I'll simply disappear before anyone comes to investigate your claims, leaving you looking the fool. I understand. I had some questions then. Can you return to your normal form at will? The armoire seems to think about it for a moment. I have no need to share such secrets with the likes of you, and besides, there is no cause to change back at the present moment, and since I have not yet experienced the full sensations of being an armoire, it is a complex thing to hold, to sort stuff frilly clothes, smelling of wondrous woman smells, a drawer slides open and closed, the sound mimicking a pleasant sigh. That's really creepy, dude. I'm going to leave you for now. We will be coming back to him in a bit here. Alright, let's talk to Juliet. By the way, if this seems like a familiar story as you read it, it very much is. This dark-haired young woman, is staring listlessly off into space, sighing miserably and occasionally picking at the seams of her green velvet gown. It is difficult to discern whether she's depressed or simply bored. Greetings. She gives you only the briefest of glances before staring off into the distance once more. Greetings, yes. I am named Juliet. How may I... Oh, never thou mind. Leave me be, please. She gives an exasperated sigh. What's wrong? Oh, nothing at all. Only that I spend my days gazing into the face of mediocrity, seeing if anything could erase its dreadful, tedious passage. Is your life so tedious? Alas, it is. She sighs, closing her eyes and massaging her temples. Dreadfully boring. Perhaps I could make it less boring for you, my lady. No, no. 'Tis kind of thee to offer, though. I'm already with a man, sir, and I do love him dearly. 'Tis that I wish, she taps on her fingers against her chin, something more of our liaison. Is the relationship lacking, then? The only thing it lacks is excitement, sir. Our families took the news of our courtship splendidly. His siblings love my siblings, and our friends think our union to be blessed by the powers themselves. All is fine and good, but things are going, she frowns, so smoothly. 'Tis not right to have such a trouble-free courtship. So this is Romeo and Juliet, but backwards. I don't know about that. Dost thou not? Hast thou ever had such a courtship? She glances briefly at you. 'Twould seem that thy life is filled with a variety of problems, judging by the pallor of thy skin. I can't remember any courtships I have had. The remnants of the ones I have encountered suggest that I may have had some problems. 'Tis just that all my friends have such interesting relationships, ones fraught with turmoil, feuding families, daggers at one another's backs, poisoned mad siblings and irate fathers with large swords. I have a lover whose family loves me and whom the world loves. She sighs again. A great source of annoyance. How I wish I could formulate some way to spice things up. Mort floats close to you, whispering, I feel sorry for her lover. He doesn't know how bad he has it. A cheat like this is nothing but trouble. What do we want to say to her? What did you have in mind, Juliet? I'm not sure. Some element of danger or jealousy, something intense. Why don't you make up some fake love letters from a hidden affair? Juliet's eyes brighten. Excellent notion. Most excellent, she suddenly frowns. But he knows my handwriting. Wilt thou write some for me? Not my sort of thing. I can find you some, though. Oh, wouldst thou? Excellent. When thou dost find some, please give them to my love Montague. He may be found within the Civic Fest Hall. As for the letters, please try Scufflaw Pen. He runs a print shop in the lower ward. I thank thee. Of course, farewell. We're gonna go see all the people before we go running off to do the quests. There are many to do. Hey, we can talk to Vivien, I guess. This tall, elegant woman with a sharp features and a regal demeanor is a striking example of aristocratic beauty. Her clothes appear to be spun of silver thread, and a small phial that dangles from her necklace. She is perfumed with an exotic, erotic scent that seems to draw you towards her. Greetings. She looks over at you, arching an eyebrow with it you sense to be disdain. Greetings, my name is Vivien. Am I to presume I am being summoned? No, I just have some questions. She nods impatiently. Go on then. What is that incredible smell? She smiles at you. I thank you for your compliment, but I assure you, this personal aroma is a bland and paltry odor in comparison to my personal scent. She sighs. Your personal scent? Yes, I have a particular scent that seems to have gone wandering. It is somewhat difficult to keep it in one place. I hope that someone did not take it by accident, though you never know with the ladies around here. She frowns. So by any chance, have you smelled it somewhere? You smell quite nice right now, you know. She scowls for a moment, then smiles at you. Yes, and I thank you for your compliment, but I assure you, this particular aroma is nothing to my personal scent. She sighs. How can a scent go wandering? Vivien shakes her head. I had meant to infer that it had been taken. The ladies here are a bit jealous at times, and have been known to take my various perfumes for themselves. This time, though, someone has absconded with my own personal scent. I worked on that scent, perfected it, and now, poof, 'tis gone. I need not bear such annoyances. Vivien stomps her feet. I want that scent back, and I want it now. I can help. Vivien seems dubious. Are you certain? I do not wish to impose. No imposition. I am pleased to help such a lovely woman as yourself.
My journal.
And I mumbles something angrily. You catch the word piking and idjit stick. Vivien smiles and nods to you. You are too kind. Very well. If you run across it, please let me know. I am somewhat anxious to get it back. One of a kind scent, really? Alright. So she wants her perfume back. Which means we don't actually have to go into her room right now, but we'll go up there. We'll go find her perfume later. Alright, so let's talk to Nenny Nine Eyes. This petite, attractive young woman is smiling blissfully and humming to herself. Her wide, pale blue eyes seem to constantly drink in their surroundings as she looks about. Greetings. The smiling woman curtsies gratefully and looks up to you smiling. Well met, good sir. I am Nenny, and how are you this fine day? She suddenly notices your scars and places a gloved hand over your mouth. Oh my, you're hurt! She blinks. All over. Mort spins right around, mocking the girl's obviousness. Powers above, Chief. She's right. I never noticed before. You're covered in scars. They're old scars. I'm fine. She nods quietly, lowering her hand. I had some questions. Huh. She can't seem to tear her eyes from your scars. Oh, how shameful of me. Don't mind my rude staring. I am named Nenny. She makes a little curtsy, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our brothel for the slating of intellectual lusts. She returns to staring at your body. You have tattoos under those scars, too. What's that one? She points to one of your tattoos. That one's... looks fascinating. Look at the way the lines of ink. I think that's ink. She squints at the tattoo and reaches out to touch it. I'm gonna allow her to touch me. I think that's ink. She traces a finger on the edge of the tattoo. Is it ink? And what a pattern. Look at the way the lines intersect there. She touches the center of the tattoo. That's simply amazing. She purses her lips and frowns in disappointment. I could make it out better if there weren't so many scars. There's nothing to be done about the scars. They're permanent. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pox on me for even mentioning them. She cringes, but I have to know. Are you absolutely sure you're alright? I'm looking at you, and I can't help but believe you're not in some pain. I have amnesia, but that's all. Amnesia? Nenny blinks, then brightens. Loss of memory. You are so lucky. She chimes perkily. Everything must be so new to you. There is truth to that, but the newness is unwelcome. She blinks. That sounds so sad. Yes it is, but I had some questions. She's kind of a little oblivious. But that's really all we know. Let's see about Vivien's scent, I guess. What? Oh, I can't say anything bad about anyone. I'm just no good at it. It's not bad to point out a thief, Nenny. Oh, but I don't know if she's a thief. Nenny bites her lip and looks at you with pleading eyes as if she just wishes you would leave the topic alone. Look, why don't you just try and say something not nice about her? Oh, all right. Nenny puts her hands on her hips and frowns deeply, almost exaggeratedly. You resist the temptation to laugh. Ooh, I just like her very much. She pauses for a moment, then looks at you out of the corner of your eye as if gauging your reaction. Was that convincing? Not really. Nenny frowns. I knew I wouldn't be any good at this. She looks up at you depressed. Do you know how hard it is to say bad things about someone? It feels so wrong. Why don't you practice on me, Nenny? I suppose I could try. She looks dubious. You big, mean, nasty brute. She puts her hands on her hips. Meanie. She looks at you. How is that? Try hitting me. Nenny clamps her hands over her mouth, looking shocked. Oh, I couldn't. I mustn't. How does one hit somebody anyway? Go ahead, but do it lightly, if you have to. Remember, I'm a mean, nasty brute. I deserve it. Sounds like some really kind of odd foreplay. Nenny slaps you. You barely feel it. She still looks shocked and frightened she hurt you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that hurt? Tell me you're okay. Don't break character, Nenny. Come on, show me what you got. You can say something bad. Just let it all out. Oh, Nenny draws her tiny frame to its full height, balls her hands into fists and puts them on her hip and scrunches up her face in a cute scowl. Oh, be damned you. You deserve that for all the indignities you put me through. Going out late at night, her eyes roam up and down your body, getting into fights, getting all scarred up. What are the kids gonna think? Excellent. Oh, don't you excellent me like I'm some backlicker looking for your approval. I'm my own woman, and this woman is about to walk out of your life unless I get some solid commitment. Alright, that's enough of you, Nenny. Nenny punches you. You barely feel it. Take this! She punches you again. And this! She punches you again, promptly turning into a little fist-flailing whirlwind. Okay, time to let go of the anger. Nenny sighs tiredly. Whew, that was easier than I thought. No kidding. And I'm sure I'll do better next time. I'm so excited to have learned something new. Thank you. So I have a question now. What about Vivien said? Maybe I saw that mean Marissa sneaking out of Vivien's room one night. Now, I'm not saying she took it, but I know Marissa's not a very nice person, and that sure sounds suspicious, huh? I'd go ask her about it. Nenny nods at you. That's all I wish to know. Farewell, Nenny. So we helped out Nenny with her little anger problem. And now we're gonna go meet up with somebody new named Ekko. This striking young woman has the skin the color of burnished copper. A translucent white dress held precariously by golden clasps is draped carefully over her shapely form. Greetings. The woman nods and smiles briefly. The scent of her hair, sweetly perfumed, fills your nostrils. I have some questions, she nods. Who are you? She smiles and curtsies, but offers no response. Can you speak? She shakes her head and smiles sadly at you. I love this shit already. Can you write then? Or pantomime? She pouts, shaking her head. Might I ask why you can't communicate? She sighs softly and nods. Actually, let me ask you about something else. She doesn't have a voice. I don't think we can actually do anything about that yet, so we'll deal with that later.
Alright.
We will come back to. I think this is Vivien's room. We already spoke to Vivien. Yep. So, next room. Next room is... This isn't actually a room. This just goes down to the basement, I think. Or maybe it doesn't. I thought this went down to the basement. Oh yeah, it is right there. Yeah, we can go down to the basement, but we're not going to yet. We'll go experience that last thing in a second. So now we're on number 8, I guess. On my list, which is Marissa's room. She is not a very nice person. Squinting at the figure behind the partition, you can barely make out a shapely female form in the darkness. She turns to you, but you can see nothing of her face. Greetings. The figure answers in a voice that is slow and deadly, like steel dagger being drawn across stone. Yes! Come speak with Marissa, have you? Quite rude of you to enter a darkened room, storming by my partition like so rude and foolhardy. You hear a faint whispering sound, like a slight breeze or the hissing of serpents. Mort whispered quietly. Whoa, creepy shit. My apologies, my lady. I wasn't sure someone was in here. The woman gives a slight but it would seem there is someone in this room, wouldn't it? Shall you be on your way then? Not just yet, I had some questions. Ask. Why do you remain behind the screen? Is it your wish that I step away from this partition into some patch of light and speak to you face to face? Marissa laughs, and there is the sound of scales sliding on scales. Nay, I think not. The darkness suits me, and doubtless suits you as well. Why is it so dark in here? To prevent any wanted embarrassing casualties. Now, what is it you want? I would just want you to come into the light. Nay, and the addition of a please will not serve to persuade me. Now, what do you want? Surely you do not come all this way to see me. I do want to see what you look like. You have no such want. Oh, I do. What do you look like? The darkness hides us both. Let's make it a game. I'm fairly bored. Let me guess, are you a human male? Yes. Are you wounded in the throat? Yes. Describe yourself to me. I'm tall, muscular, and horribly scarred. Indeed. She pauses for a moment. How are you so horribly scarred? Wait, never mind. I do not wish to know. Now describe yourself for me. Marissa describes herself as a shapely, pale-skinned, beautiful woman with a forked tongue, hair made up of writhing asps, and glowing eyes, which you assume she must be keeping shut. You sound very exotic-looking, Marissa. Marissa laughs slightly, the sound accompanied by the slight hissing. Oh, I am, and my merest glance turns living things to stone, from beings of flesh to statuary with only the bat of an eyelash. Living things to stone. Could you turn, say, a limb into a statue? I suppose I could, had you a limb, and were I inclined to do so, and I might be so inclined had I my crimson veil, but I do not know where it has gone. Have you seen it, perchance? No. What is it for? Is it a normal veil? No, not quite. It aids me in communication, face-to-face communication, that is. Why do you need to hide your face? Enough with these asinine questions. How tiresomely annoying you are. Now what do you want? What can you tell me about the silent prostitute? Yes, Ekko. I knew another Ekko once, though her name was written differently. I know nothing of this girl, though. Ask Delora of her. She made friends of an old lover of Ekko's, I have heard. Okay. We're not going to ask her about the thing yet. We do know that her veil is missing, though, and we also know where it might be.
All right.
Nenny, let's go talk to her one more time.
Done. I'm gone.
Nenny, I have some questions. I'm trying to find Marissa's crimson veil. Do you know where it might be?
My journal.
I'll bet I do. I saw that nasty Kimaz's adder tongue sticking out of Marissa's room one night. They're both meanies, you know, but Kimaz's really awful. Anyway, I talked to her first. Thanks, Nenny. We have not met her yet. She's coming up, though, pretty soon. In fact, I think she's next on our list. There's Kazi Saris.
Done.
Oh, we don't want to rob them. There's no real point in robbing them, so just as a heads up. No, Kazi, don't leave. We need to speak with you. This alarmingly voluptuous woman has a thick mane of wavy, raven-colored hair, bluish skin, and shimmering crimson eyes like rubies, which has fires lit beneath them. Though she is not beautiful in the typical sense of the word, her features are exotic and not altogether unattractive. Greetings. The woman's voice is deep and sensuous. And my greetings to you, sir. Her burning eyes roam all over you. I am Kazi Saris, so tell me, what might I do for you? Anything, Mort cries. Do anything you want to me. Kazi laughs heartily, revealing canines long enough to be considered fangs. She shakes her head and smiles at Mort. Truly, though, please, what can I do for you? Well, what do you usually do for patrons? Talk, of course. Usually about dreams, often those erotic in nature, but not always. Kazi winks at you, smiling. Would you like to tell me yours? Don't be shy. I've heard everything, you know. Nothing will shock or surprise me, and I do so love to hear people's dreams. We can trade if you'd like to, but you must go first. 1 second, I just got to get a drink of water. Alright. My dreams were recently revised when I saw you, my lady. Where are they now? Kazi smiles, her gleaming red eyes looking over you once more. You look very savage, you know. Tell me, are you rough with your lovers? In the act, I mean, very physical. No, I'm quite gentle, actually. Kazi nods, smiling. I thought you'd say as much. I'm quite rough myself. I like to be carried around, and I particularly enjoy biting. I've got sharp teeth, though, so I've got to take care. Sometimes I get carried away and draw a little blood, you know. It's enough to make me weep. Where was this shit when I had a body? Roaming the outlands, most likely. But that was a rhetorical question, wasn't it? She winks at Mort and turns to you again. I don't think I'd mind the biting. Kazi laughs. I doubt I'd get through that thick hide of yours anyway. Do you have much sensation left in your skin? No, sadly, not really. The scars are very thick. Oh, that's a shame. You do have a lot of scars. Kazi looks closely at your face, even your lips, the lids of your eyes. Tell me, are you scarred everywhere? You know, everywhere. No, not really. Parts of me have somehow managed to stay out of harm's way. That's good then. Kazi laughs cheerfully, then puts on a mock serious look, placing her hands on her hips. You never did tell me about your dreams, you know. Come on, let's have them. I don't have many dreams, really. For a long time, I had none at all. None at all, really. Too peculiar. Even fiends and divas dream, you know. So what are these few dreams about, She leans towards us, eager for a response. They're more nightmares than dreams. Visions of a black barb maze, a night hag named Brothel. Kazi remains silent. Oh, nightmares. I see, that's a pity. It really is. Are you alright? You seem suddenly distraught. I'm fine, just fine. Thank you, though. Kazi smiles at you. Interesting. So... Let's see what we can learn about some of the other prostitutes. Let's talk to Ekko. Or talk about Ekko. Yes, that's Ekko. She's very sweet, but so quiet. I understand that she said something once which caused some great tragedy, and because of that she'll never speak again. Kasai shrugs, smiling. An interesting story, though. I don't know if it's true. Try asking Delora. I've seen her talking to an ex-lover of Ekko, back from a time when Ekko was speaking. Let's talk about Marissa's Crimson Veil. No, I haven't seen it since the last time she wore it out, but Nenny might have seen something, so try asking her. I'll admit, it's been nice. Marissa won't leave her chamber without the veil, and we've been spared her foul tongue, leaving only Kimaxi to deal with. That Kimaxi's the worst of the two, though. How so? Marissa's haughty and mean, but Kimazi? I can't pronounce the name. Kimazi, maybe. She's a bitter, spiteful monster of a woman with a venomous tongue and the demeanor of a Balor. I can't see why anyone would like to speak with her. I sincerely doubt her appearance makes up for that flaying, poisonous mouth of hers, but she receives patrons nonetheless. Okay, let's go talk to her. She sounds like the person we need to talk to. Oops.
All right. Done.
Nobody in this room. Let's take a quick look around. We're gonna grab the handkerchief. An unremarkable silk handkerchief. We'll need it later on, actually, so just so you
I'm
know.
gone. All right.
That's why we're grabbing it.
I'm gone. Done.
Kamaski Addertongue. The wild-looking tiefling girl meets your gaze with an angry scowl. Her tattooed body is practically naked, covered by only a narrow leather thong and a black cloth brassiere and armored shoulder pads that appear to serve more as decoration rather than actual protection. Her spiky hair, as well as the thin fur that covers her goat-like legs, is brassy white, and she has numerous rings dangling from her ears, nostrils, lips, and brow. She wears a leather collar around her throat with the inscription Kamazi Addertongue. Greetings. Kamazi bares her teeth at you. And what are you looking up, you banged up sod? My friend. Thought you were attractive, but whoa, was he ever horribly mistaken. She sneers at Mort, then looks below him where a body would normally be. Shark tongue for a stemless deader. That's enough, you two. Sure, Chief, whatever. What a witch, huh? Mort huffs, then wiggles his eyebrows. I like that. I'm sure you do, Mort, but I need to talk to her. The tiefling rolls her eyes. What makes you think I care? Why don't you lick my backside? My tongue's not wide enough, and I don't like hair in my mouth. Well, you seem to like the taste of offal in your mouth, you dung-breath cretin. Only because it's like kissing you, you mangy stinkpot. Kiss me? She makes a retching sound. I'd rather kiss on a bloody mass of phlegm than lay my lips on you. No thanks. Don't thank me. Thanks to the power someone actually wants to kiss you. Kamaxi looks at a loss for something to say. For an instant, a smile threatens to crack the grimacing mask of her face. Then she becomes more of a basilisk than ever. Alright, what do you want of me? Questions answered. She looks annoyed. Fine, whatever. Ask. I was told you were seen sneaking away from Marissa's chambers recently. Is that connected with her missing veil somehow? Kamaski flies into a rage. Who told you that? She suddenly falls silent, glaring at you through narrowed eyes. If I was there, Burke, I didn't take your filthy veil. Search my room if you'd like. If I catch you sneaking in my breeches, though, I'll see to it you're never allowed in here ever again. Why would someone ever snitch your breeches? Beats me. Someone's nicked more than a few pairs of them, though. My favorite leather brassiere, too, with the iron studs. She humps angrily. That's all I wanted to know. Now I think we know exactly who has it.
All right.
Let's go meet up with our armoire friend here. This is Louis, the talking armoire. I have some questions, Louis. Yes. I'm trying to find Marissa's Crimson Veil. Do you know where it might be? I heard she used to walk about in the Crimson Veil, but that she had recently taken to her room and darkened it. I did not know what had occurred, so this veil of hers is missing then. I'm trying to find Vivien's scent. Do you know where it might be? Oh yes, dear, I had heard about that. Most unfortunate. Did you ever have the exquisite pleasure of breathing in that scent of hers? The armoire's jaws seemed to shudder with delight. Absolutely wondrous it was, but sadly no. I know not where good Lady's Vivien scent may be found. I guess we cannot get it yet.
All right.
We need to get the, We need to get him to admit about it, so we gotta go talk to more people first, I think. Yves, the tail chaser. This fetching woman has a faraway look in her soft sea-green eyes. Greetings. Greetings, I am Yves, the tail chaser. What a coincidence, I too chase tails. Yves returns unperturbed. Is it Yves, maybe? Have you come to trade tails? Where's Yves? I'd like to trade tails. Yves nods. I would like that very much. I will tell her the story of waking up in the mortuary. She leans forward as we tell the tale of our awakening in the dustman's mortuary. She seems to devour our every word. As we finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale. I too will tell a tale of the dustman. Chapters of dust. Go on. There are chapters in the dead book, the massive tome in which the dustmen keep the records of the passing of all who live. Blech. There are chapters in the dead book, the massive tome in which the dustmen keep that records the passing of all that lives into the eternal boundary. That's a weird sentence. Anyways, in this book there are chapters that are naught but dust, and it is believed that the names therein are lost souls who cannot die but must suffer eternally until history itself dies and grants them release. I have another tale to share. Alley of lingering sighs. She leans forward as we tell the tale of the alley giving birth. She seems to devour our every word. As we finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale, and now I have one for you. Before I begin, I must ask, do you know what a Modron is? Well, I do, but my character doesn't. Modrons are creatures of total law, almost more machinery than living things. There are many different sorts of Modron, but all have their place in a very rigid, carefully organized hierarchy. So dedicated are they to the system that they cannot communicate with or even consider the existence of Modrons who are not their immediate superiors or inferiors. I understand now. Then I shall tell you the tale of the clock and the quadrone. Go on. Once upon a time, there existed a Modron. It was newly created, its logic fresh and untested, and it had come to Sigil, following the commands of its Modron superiors. Go on. It knew of nothing but commands and dictates of obedience, and passing along the orders of its superiors. For you see, Modrons were not only aware of the commands of their immediate superiors, they had no grasp of a higher authority, until this one. Go on. One day it came upon a small shop, within which there was a small clock that could no longer tell time. It was cracked along the edges, the wheels of its hands broken. The Modron immediately set itself to work, getting the parts to fix the broken clock. Go on. It made a new wooden housing for the clock's parts, replaced the bent springs, carefully filed and oiled the clockwork machinery, and carved new hands from the sparse metal available to it. The newly repaired clock's precise ticking reminded it of the great gears of Mechanus, and it comforted as much as any living thing may comfort a Modron. Go on. And what the Modron never came to understand was that it truly loved this clock that it had worked on, and for reasons it could not explain, elected to remain in Sigil and be with the clock for the rest of its years. I have another tale. The Silent King. Yves leans forward as you tell the tale of hidden nations of undead ruled over by a corpse who hasn't spoken in 1,000 years. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles. I shall remember this tale. And now I have one for you, the petitioner at the gate. Go on. It was far after peak when the distant pounding was heard on the gates of the prison. Karas, the oldest mercy killer known to the faction, dragged himself from his post, making his way down the hall to the great gates that separated the punished from the outside world. The pounding did not fade as he reached the gate and spoke to it. Go on. He called out and received no answer. He opened the gate, far from feeling caution, but a strange, compelling sensation. A haggard figure was on bent knees just beyond the door. Her hands were bloody from where they had been pounding against the gate, and her breath came in labored gasps. As the flickering light from the interior prison chamber poured across the cobbles, she glanced up at the mercy killer who stood framed in the doorway and began to sob with relief. Go on. He felt himself mirrored in all but his gender as he stared at this woman, and he was stirred by her presence. Karas found himself unsure of what to say, so he simply waited for the woman to provide an explanation. She did. It was a simple statement, but of utmost importance, and it made Karas, whose knees ached painfully with every moment, bend down and help the woman to her feet. He brought her in from the outside, guiding her gently into the passage beyond. She had said that an injustice had been done, and that was all Karas needed to hear. In the end, it came to pass that she could not fulfill her duty as a Fury, for the man guilty of a blood crime, had died unpunished. She begged Karas and the mercy killers for aid, and so they executed her. She had failed in her charge. I got another tale. I'm going to tell her the story of the Dream Builder. Yves leans forward as you tell the tale of a man who lost his ability to dream and commissioned the construction of a device that would allow him to dream once more. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale, and now I have one for you, the beekeeper's tale. Once upon a time, a man came onto the field of the hives. Upon this field, he heard thousands of bees, but there was not a single bee to be seen. Amongst the hives walked a beekeeper, who was extracting the honeycomb from the apparently empty hives. Yet despite the lack of insects, the drone continued. The man was mystified. He made to speak with the beekeeper, who lifted his hood to reveal a creature made entirely of bees. A mouth-shaped depression formed in the massive insects which made up the thing's face. The depression moves as the creature spoke, but the drone was such that its words cannot be understood. The man died at that moment, unable to comprehend what it was the beekeeper had said. Whoops. Oh dear. I hit Windows button by accident. I have another tale to share with you. I'm going to tell you the story of Requin's curse. She leans forward as we tell the tale of Requin's odifarious curse. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I should remember this tale, and now I have one for you, the Gilded Tale. Go on. Upon the plain of Isgard is the Gilded Hall, where those sensates that seek the pleasure of gullet and loin can be found. They indulge these passions in earnest, never realizing that the doors of the hall never open, and that there is no clear path back to the civic fest hall. They are the unwanted sensates, the ones who do not truly believe in the faction, but instead seek only pleasure for pleasure's sake, are prisoners who do not realize that they are such truly prisoners. Interesting. I'm going to ask one of my companions if they have a story to tell. Mort, do you have a story? Me? Why do I have to tell a story? Just tell a story, Mort. Fine, fine. An elderly man was sitting alone on a dark path, right? He wasn't certain of which direction to go, and he had forgotten both where he was traveling to and who he was. He sat down for a moment to rest his weary legs, and suddenly looked up to see an elderly woman before him. She grinned toothlessly and with a cackle spoke, "Now your third wish, what will it be?" Go on, Mort. Third wish? The man was baffled. How can it be a third wish if I hadn't had the first and second wish? You've had 2 wishes already, the hag said, but your second wish was for me to return everything to the way it was before you had made your first wish. That is why you remember nothing, because everything is the way it was before you made any wishes. She cackled at the poor Burke. So it is that you have 1 wish left. All right, said the man. I don't believe this, but there's no harm in wishing. I wish to know who I am. Funny, said the old woman, as she granted his wish and disappeared. Forever? That was your first wish. That is a good story. An interesting tale, Mort, and now I've one for you and your companion, the Fiend's game. Go on. A fiend sometimes wandered through the wilderness of a certain prime world under the guise of a friendly old man. One day he came across some hunters in the woods. What are you doing? The fiend asked. The hunters told him, and the fiend nodded. I have never been on a hunt before. The hunters invited the old man to come along, and the group eventually came upon a glade where several deer were grazing. The hunters carried crossbows but did not fire. The fiend asked them why. They are unarmed, the hunters chuckled, patting their crossbows. We hunt nothing that does not have the ability to defend itself. After all, where is the sport in that? The fiend nodded and promptly gated in 3 of his fellows. The hunters led them on a merry chase, but eventually they were caught and eaten. Interesting. Alright, another companion. Dakon, go! I shall impart the tale of Ashalai drowning. Dakon tells the story of Ashalai, a foolish Githzerai of myth who had become lost in the chaos of limbo. Normally, a single Githzerai may use their focus and mental discipline to form the chaos around them into a small habitable environment. Ashalai, however, asked so many useless and unfocused questions in her quest to return home that her isle of matter dissolved around her, and she drowned. Eve smiles. Fascinating, Dakon. Let me share with you and your companion another version of your tale that I have heard. Dakon looks attentive, and perhaps a little surprised. Yves goes on to tell a different version of Dakon's tale, in which Ashalai was driven from the Githzerai city of Shrakatlor for her constant useless prattling. One day she encountered a Slotty on his way to the spawning stone. She hastily erected a wall of chaos matter, which even the ravenous Slotty found difficult to break down. Hungrily it waited and spoke to her through the wall. She asked it questions, and as she did, became more and more absorbed in her pointless queries and the Slotty's answers. Her own wall of decayed and collapsed upon her, and thus she drowned in the matter of limbo. Okay, interesting story. Not as cool as Mort's story. Anna. I'm no good at telling such things. I'm not. She frowns and waves her hands as if trying to shoo away the idea. Don't be asking me for such nonsense now. Eve smiles at Anna, but I would very much like to hear your story. Please share your story, Anna. Come on already. Fiendling, you already have one tail you won't part with. Anna looks uncomfortable, her tail lashing slowly back and forth. Well, I know one story. She suddenly becomes angry, glaring at Eve's. But you might not like it, you won't, so don't be blaming me for you choking it out of me. Go ahead, Anna. Anna scowls, then finally relents in an exasperated sigh. I heard a story when I was a wee lass. This Burke's walking home real late, near Anti-Peak, and passes an old toothless crone in a dark and otherwise empty street. Where are you going? She asks him. Home to me wife and Kip, he says. Near the slags, she asks him. Sure enough, he says. So she asks him a favor. Take the box that she's got to Debtor's Pit and give it to the woman there. Now this Burke's a real sap. Too nice to say no, despite the fact he's sure something's not quite right about this old crone, and agrees. But what's the woman's name, he asks. Where does she live? Where should I look for her if she's not by Debtor's Pit? The woman hands him the box, a wooden thing wrapped in colored cloth, and tells him to go, and she'll be there. Finally she warns him, and whatever you do, do not open the box. So she takes it home with him and hides it in the rafters, thinking he'll bring it by Debtor's Pit when it's light out. His wife, though, seeing him hiding the box, gets right jealous, thinking it's a gift for a lover or something, and opens it up as soon as she's not looking. Well, it turns out the box was full of gouged out eyes and severed male members, with the hair still on him. Her scream brought the Burke running, and he remembered what the crone said and got right scared and wrapped the box back up. He went straight out to Debtor's Pit, and sure enough there was another old hag waiting for him there. He hands her the box and says to him, "This box has been opened and looked into." The poor Burke tries to deny it, but she gets this dreadful look on her face. You've done something horrible, she tells them, then disappears. That done, he hurries back to his Kip. He's feeling ill when he gets back and takes to bed. His wife bitterly regretted opening the box and all, but it was too late. The next day he died of a rotting disease, and the first of the things to go was his eyes and stem. Anna nods grimly, her tale complete. That was a wonderful tale, Anna. You should never hesitate to share it. Now I've got one for you and your companion, the parched land. Once, a large village was struck by a terrible drought. A farmer journeyed to the worshipping stone, and again implored it to the cause of the drought. He asked the stone why it did nothing when the fields were parched and dying, why the animals and the people suffered while the stone did not a thing. Have we not given enough offerings? The farmer asked, begging almost upon his hands and knees, but the stone did not respond. It merely sat and cast its shadow. I see. Faith isn't the best thing to rely on, I guess. Let's ask another question. Let's see if she knows anything about Marion's Crimson. Eve shakes her head, but Marissa's Crimson, but Marissa's is an interesting tale. Would you like to hear it? Yes. Once upon a time, in a world of heroes and a time of petty, childish gods, there were 3 sisters. Cursed with a hideous appearance, they were considered demons by the people of the land and forever shunned. One missed her sisters terribly, yet left that world with its shame behind, but exchanged the pettiness of a pantheon for the pettiness of self. That would be Medusa. The 3 were the Gorgons, by the way, from Greek mythology. 7.
Updated my journal.
Eve shakes her head. Speak with Nenny. She is forever pacing about, observing everything intently. Anything else to know about this place? I don't think so. Do you know anything about Ravel Puzzlewell? The tale of Ravel Puzzlewell, frightener of children, begins and ends with the question, what can change the nature of a man? We've heard that before many times. Go on. Many were the times she posed this riddle to those who approached her, those who sought to glean from her the strange magics that she alone seemed to possess. All attempted to answer her query, but to no avail, and they found the price of the wrong answer to be some horrible fate, always more terrible than the last victims. To recount their various torments would be to speak of things that nightmares are woven from. The tale strikes me in this way. Ravel herself knew not the answer to this question, but she lusted for such an answer. Only the why of the matters remained in question. Why did the nature of a man matter to one of the Grey Sisters, especially one of such power as Ravel? It is said that she put the question to the Lady of Pain, not directly, but shouted it to Sigil itself, daring for the lady to answer. When no reply was forthcoming, she wove terrible magics in that threatened to open the cage and let the fury of the plains roll in like a wave. She received no answer other than banishment. To this day, no one knows the answer to Ravel's question, and now there is no one to petition, for Ravel herself is gone, lost to the plains.
Updated my journal.
Okay, we were going to leave, but she said, wait, there's something more. Though my tale ends with Ravel's demise, there are some that claim that the hag still lives. There is a silent prostitute here who once talked of such things, but she speaks no longer. If she would speak to you, she might tell you more of Ravel. What can you tell me about her? Ekko. Yves frowns, thinking, I once heard a tale of a girl who knew the word that, if spoken, would undo the multiverse. Perhaps this is Ekko. Ask Delora, though. I understand that she sometimes meets with the one who knew Ekko before she stopped speaking. Alright. So, Delora is the next person we're going to talk to, but we're going to do it in the next video. We're at 45 minutes, and that was a lot of talking straight. My throat's kind of sore, so I'm going to get some water, and when I get back, we will be doing the rest of this place, hopefully. Like always, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.